So what's up, guys? Today we got John Mastrangelo on the podcast. We brought him on because he's a dynamic figure. One of the things that he really prides himself on is being a hybrid athlete. He's got a storied athletic history. And I think a lot of the things he's doing now can be prefaced by his athletic past. We met in the gym, John.
Yep.
So, we kind of saw each other. I remember when we met and we were immediately like, oh, what's going on? And we could tell we wanted to meet. And then once we did, we just kind of hit it off right away. So that's how we met, kind of in the gym. Obviously, you go to the gym, you look great. And I think that's one thing people really notice about you out on the pickleball courts is that not only are you athletic, but you're also very aesthetic. So I definitely want to go into, I think people want to hear about, how you're able to be, athletic, aesthetic, focus on health, be that hybrid athlete, and be so great at pickleball. I think another thing that people want to hear about is our new partnership that we're going into, which is pickleball training. I think that's going to be very interesting for people. And a new take on, what you can really accomplish out on the pickleball court, really just increasing your confidence, increasing your skill level so fast, but also injury prevention and just being more athletic. But first, I think we should definitely preface who you are, your athletic history, your past, what got you here today. People want to hear about that. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your kind of starting maybe back in high school?
Yeah, no, 100%. So actually, back in the day, I wasn't into the gym. I wasn't really into fitness. I played in high school and growing up. I mean, I was athletic. I played basketball with my friends and, baseball and whatnot. I actually played a lot of video games, believe it or not. So after school, I would play a lot of video games, and I got hooked on video games to the point where I was almost professional.
No way.
My dad was driving me around to New York, New Jersey, Boston.
Wow.
Because I'm from Connecticut, so a lot of places kind of local.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I won $15,000 playing Call of Duty.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember playing with all the top pros, and I was playing with all the big names, winning all these tournaments and whatnot. I was coming home from school and probably grinding Call of Duty for 6-7 hours a night. I would almost stay home from school and grind Call of Duty. So I was really into it.
No way.
And I think that's kind of where I got my competitive spirit from, from the video games. But as far as athletics go, nothing really stuck with me in high school besides baseball. Growing up, I played t-ball and all that. And throughout high school, I played baseball as well. I tried out tennis, cross country. I was actually a pretty good runner. When I did cross country, I think I was number 3 on the team. I did that in middle school. And
what were you running in cross country?
As far as distance goes, I think the most distance I did was maybe 8 miles.
Wow, okay.
The preference is I was never right now I'm 220 pounds. Back in the day, growing up, in high school, I was 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a big difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah. So for me to run now, it's a lot more weight, trucking around.
It's tougher, man.
Yeah.
But that's what being a hybrid athlete is kind of about, though, man.
Exactly.
Being able to throw up weight in the gym, being able to be out there on the court and be athletic, move athletically, but then also being able to, run some distance and run fast. It's an awesome, I think, thing to be able to do, just that capability, that feeling, that confidence. And also even just for your health, man, just being the healthiest person you can possibly be. It's fantastic, right?
Yeah. Because ideally what I want to do is I want to go into the gym, be able to deadlift 500 pounds. And then right after that, I want to run a 5-minute mile.
There you go.
That's what I want to do. I want to be able to do everything. If someone's like you said, you're doing a trail run today. If someone's hey, I want to do this. I'm gonna be I'm not built for that. I'm gonna be hey, I'm doing it all.
Yeah.
I may not be the best at everything, but like you said, hybrid athlete. I want to be able to do everything. What
I found is you can really be great at some of the things. And you're not gonna maybe be the best, but you can be really great at some of the things. And then you can do really well at other things. Exactly. I also see a lot of crossover too. You being strong for pickleball is really good for injury prevention. I think people don't really realize how strength is so protective. Yep. So not only is it injury prevention, but it also makes you more athletic, right? You feel good. You feel more confident being out there, I would think. Yeah. Right? Because that's how I feel in my life.
Yeah, you're moving in crazy ways on the pickleball court. Because going back to the sports, kind of how it started and everything. In high school, I tried tennis 1 year. Freshman year of high school, I did tennis with my best friend. And I was number 2 on the team right away. Wow. And he was number 1. He was a really good soccer player. He ended up tearing his ACL. Ooh. In high school. It's kind of you're trying to figure it out, and you're trying to do what all the cool kids are doing. Tennis was not what all the cool kids were doing. So I stuck with baseball, and I did baseball for the remainder years. Okay. But looking back now, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
You know, and fitness has helped with that.
Yeah.
But I used to kind of like try and blend in with everyone and do what all the cool kids are doing. So I stuck with baseball. I tried football, sucked at football. And I was like 150-pound kid. You know, I was one of the smallest people on the team. Wrestling I was pretty good at as well. So I tried everything. Wow. The only thing I stuck with was baseball. And I was pretty good at tennis. But when my buddy got hurt, I stopped doing that. But tennis and pickleball are so much different because pickleball, it's like you have such a smaller court, and to your point, injury prevention, you're moving your body and your knees and your ankles and just in such like weird planes and ranges of motion.
Yeah.
Where it's like you really need to like work on, you know, the smaller aspects, you know. It's not just running straight.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think what most people would think though is that tennis and pickleball are like really close in that way, but you're right. It's like going from, if you ever played soccer, going from soccer to indoor soccer, like totally different game.
Oh, 100%.
Same thing I would think with pickleball, right? Yeah. There's a lot more stop, start, change direction because you're just boom, really quick, boom, go, boom, going. Yeah. And then, that being a smaller court totally changes the game. How about like, if you're going to, it seems like also you're really reaching a lot too. You're kind of stepping out and reaching a lot to kind of hit, to get those hits, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's more so like the flexibility thing that we've talked about in the gym. It's like sometimes my shoulder may hurt because I'm not flexible enough. So it's like you really have to focus on like the posterior chain and like actually doing like some band work and like, I do a lot of like sled work as well to protect the knees and ankles. So it's like a lot of little things that people don't focus on. You need to, because when I first started playing pickleball, I don't know if I told you this, but I tore both of my calves.
Wow.
So I popped the left one just because I wasn't warming up properly. I wasn't hydrated because I wasn't used to the heat, in Arizona.
Oh man. Yeah. Coming from Connecticut to here.
Yeah. Yeah. It was different. I think I like played like 3 times that day. It was like 8:00 at night. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play again. And this old guy like drop shot at me. He had like a knee brace on, just legit destroyed me on the court.
That did great things for your confidence.
Yeah, no, great things. I was like, man, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to lift. It's like kind of like unmotivating. I was like, man, what am I going to do? But I'd rested for like 4 months, and then I tried to rush back on the court, and then my right one popped. So I was like,
that long? It sidelined you that long?
Yeah. So then the right one popped, and I was like, all right, let me take like another 4 months off. And then I like kind of rehabbed it the right way. Like I said, I did a lot of like sled work, and that's where I was like, all right, I need to focus on, because I'm not getting younger, So I was like, I need to focus on my fitness.
Yeah.
And now
none of us are getting younger.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like hearing a lot of people getting hurt from pickleball, where it's like, hey, I'm able to lift, run, do whatever, and I feel healthy now.
Yeah.
Finally. It took me a little while, but now I like understand what goes into it.
That's I think a couple of points you brought up there are really great. So one, I think, going back to that injury, like, and properly rehabbing it, right? Before that, I would also say, from what I've seen in the hundreds of people that I've trained, is that the people that are strong, the people that have more muscle, the people that train the proper way, even when they do get injured, they recover so much faster, right? They recover even faster if after they get injured, they're knowing exactly what to do and to get back onto the court, right? It doesn't sideline them for near as long because of the investment they've put into training in the gym before. And I think that's just a world of difference that I've seen in that respect.
Exactly.
So huge there. I think that story will resonate with a lot of people too. I remember when I was a kid, where an older guy with a knee brace just ripped you up, right?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember playing racquetball, and I was probably a little less than your size actually. So I got to my height pretty quick, but I was still like 140 pounds, like just rail thin, man. And I remember playing racquetball with this dude, and this guy was out of shape. Now, maybe me being a kid, I was like 15, looking at him, maybe I thought he would, in my mind, this guy weighed like 300 pounds, not athletic, not, totally out of shape, was sweating. And he just wrecked me on the racquetball court. That was kind of like probably one of those moments in my life that was kind of like an epiphany. Like, hey man, you need to start training. Like, you need to get in the gym, get stronger, right? Not just the skill of racquetball, or let's say in this case, the skill of pickleball, but also actually training to get stronger and better. Because like, you just got embarrassed by this guy. Like, you should be able to move so much better than him, and you just got wrecked by this dude.
That's what happened to me, man. Because I moved here and I only knew tennis, and I was like going to a tennis court. I was like, tennis courts near me. And I go to this tennis court and there's pickleball courts. And I was like, all right, I guess, so I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, I grabbed the paddle, and this like 2 older couple, I think they're like 80 years old, knee brace and everything, you know, goggles, just wrecked me on the court. I was like, and me being so competitive, I was like, all right, I need to get better.
There you go.
And I got like hooked. Yeah.
Hooked.
Yeah, like
that was
legit 5 hours a day. I was like, I'm training. I was like Rocky Balboa out there. I was like, all right, I'm going every day and I'm getting better. Especially coming from tennis and this little wiffle ball.
Yeah.
A person with a knee brace just destroying me on the court. I was like, I play like tennis. I should be able to beat these guys, you know?
Oh, that's so fun.
Different game.
But then that hooked you, right?
Oh yeah. I was hooked just because with anything, like the ceiling is so high. So, and I'm the type, like a lot of people, when they get hurt, oh, I'm just going to like sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, you can always do something.
Yep.
When you're hurt, it's like almost better. It is better to move, you know, and do something.
Exactly.
Do what you can. You know?
Do what you can do that day. Right?
Exactly.
That's number one. Do what you can do that day. Do something.
Yep.
Right. And number two, a lot of times, like you just don't want to, you don't want to sit and with an injury and just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
That'll make, I mean, a lot of times it'll even make it worse. Like you want to be able to move that a little bit as much as you can. I'm not saying you got to be in a ton of pain, but when I'm training people and getting people through injuries or even like, you know, post PT, post surgery, like, man, I want to get them as moving as much as possible. Go to that almost point of pain, but just because they heal and recover so much better. You got to get that mobility back.
Oh, 100%.
So much faster.
Like as humans, we're not supposed to be doing this right now.
No, not
like this is like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, man, move. You got to move.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to, going back to like how I got into like training and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because there's like more.
Fantastic.
After the video games, my buddies would like always go to the gym. We had a gym back home and they'd be benching like 135 pounds, which was a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I could honestly barely do the bar. Like I remember going into the gym, barely doing the bar. And I was like, all right. But they brought me with them every day. We played basketball. And I remember the first supplement I got, I was like, all right, I'm going to try and get big with Jack 3D. You probably remember that.
Oh yeah.
So I had one scoop of Jack 3D. I think I was like, when I first started working out, was like 17. One scoop of Jack 3D. I was in the gym for like 5 hours. And I was like, you know, doing the bar and then I was playing basketball. I was doing like what I wouldn't recommend like a hard gainer to do. Like you're doing a lot of cardio lifting, but I was eating a lot of food. And when I mean a lot of food, I was eating whatever in sight. I was getting like, back in the day, Subway was right down the street. So I was getting Subway, Chipotle. I was doing like, you know, 2 mass gainers a day.
Dang.
And I gained, I kid you not, in the first year, they call it like the noob gains.
Yeah.
I think I went from 150 to like 180 in like my senior year of high school.
Wow.
That's where I got more accusations back then. I was like 17 to 18. I was like 150 to 180. They're like, oh, you're doing steroids. I was like, I'm like a kid, you know?
Isn't that the greatest compliment though? At the end of the day, you're like, it's kind of annoying, but you're also like, I look good. Yeah. I must look good for you to think that.
Yeah. But like in high school too, I'm like, where would I even get this? But yeah, I was eating like whatever. I was eating like 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at night. It was like a whole glass of milk. I was eating like whatever, but it was nice because I was such like a hard gainer where I was getting leaner and bigger at the same time.
That's awesome.
It's like, that's
the dream, man.
That's like one of the only times you can do it though. The first year or two, that's why I tell like kids that are like trying to get like working out and in shape. I was like, take advantage of like that 16 to like 20.
Yeah.
Like
big time.
That's where you're going to make, because right now, if you look back, like I almost look the same as I did like 3, 4, 5 years ago, just because I'm able to maintain the muscle. Because I've been working out for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long where it's like I'm able to, like I told you, work out 3 times a week and play all this pickleball and maintain the size. Because when I first started, same thing with video games. I have a very like addictive like personality or like whatever you want to call it. When I see results, just like in video games, I was like, I'm good. The gym, I saw results like in the first like month or two. I was like, oh, I see an ab. I see a bicep vein.
There you go.
And I just like was at the gym for like 5 hours. Jack 3D helped a lot. My mom's like,
those pre-workouts, man. My first one was No Explode.
Oh, I had No Explode. Yeah.
Jack 3D was massive, but I had No Explode. Those are still around, right? No Explode's still around for sure.
Yeah.
Or No Explode, whatever.
Jack 3D definitely had a little something in it.
You're there for 4 or 5 hours, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because that stuff was like a different level. You know? I would take it. My mom would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't get this feeling anymore because I've been taking pre-workout for so long and I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing it like straight for like years.
Yeah.
But I remember that feeling of like taking it. I'd be like texting everyone. I'd be like, I'm not big on the phone, but I'd like call everyone. Like at the gym, I'd want to talk to everyone. I'm like, man, this is like, you know, you get like a high from it.
Yeah. It was crazy back then, man. You don't know what they're putting in that.
Yeah. But now it's like, I take it. I'm like, I go to bed.
So a lot of the, the hard, that's funny. So a lot of the hard gainers that, that I see, I tell them the same thing. Like when you're young, that, during that time, like, dude, you need to be eating as much as possible. That is going to, sending your body that signal with protein, even just, carbs and fats, doesn't really matter. Right. But sending your body those signals of like, hey, you need to grow, store more, grow is so powerful, especially if you're smaller, you need to gain muscle. That's really what pays dividends. So I did the same thing. It wasn't when I was in high school, it was when I was in college.
Yep.
So I was still small in college. I think I got up to like 160 by like end of freshman year maybe. But I was still a small guy, thin, and all my friends were like jacked, going to the gym all the time. They were getting all the girls. They were really good at sports, and I wasn't into it, man. I was into video games just like you. And, I was like, all right, one day I got tired of this. And so I started going to the gym, and that's how I really found it as to be my passion and really how I got into this. I started going to the gym. I fell in love with it. And I was just eating like crazy, just eating everything in sight.
Yep.
And so that's the biggest recommendation I can give to anybody is like, even if you don't like the gym, because I didn't like it at first, right? Yeah. Get that discipline, get that routine, and eat as much as you can. Like just eat until so you can grow if you're a hard gainer.
Exactly.
I think
Did you live on campus too?
I did live on campus, so that kind of helped.
You had the dining hall?
Oh yeah, we had the all you can eat, the student union, man.
Yep.
That saved me. I would just destroy food.
Oh, same. Like the pancakes, the eggs, like the blueberry muffins. I was eating for like whatever.
I look back and I'm like, this is ridiculous how much I was eating. But I had to, and I think I gained 40 pounds or 35 pounds in about 2 years because I was up to 200, and then I got a little bit after that. I remember I got to like 210. And then I've dropped back down since and gotten a lot leaner. But during that, my fitness, just like I changed my body. I remember my friend telling me, he was like, dude, you have transformed your body. Like, he was like, wow, And so I think what it comes down for most people that I see is like, listen, even though you may not like it, it may not be something that you want to do, you got to go into it and be disciplined, because this is going to get you what you really want, right? Yep. Whether it's abs or to fit into different clothes or to be a certain weight, right? Those are your finite pieces that you really want to accomplish, but that's going to be down the road, right? This training is going to pay dividends, right? For whatever your finite goal is, right? So the same thing, I think about you, really it started out with just being competitive, right? So it sounds like from your story of being competitive video games, and then it transitioned into sports. Like you started being pretty competitive in sports, and then man, in the gym, like that drive to do really well, to win, to be competitive, right? And it cascaded, and now you're on the pickleball court. You're a 5-0 pickleball player, right? Winning tournaments and just being really good from, how long ago did you start?
Probably like
2.5 years ago, right? Yeah. That's fantastic. And all that experience from the past is now playing dividends right now for you, because you're athletic, right? You're aesthetic, you look good, and you're this hybrid athlete, and you're fantastic out there.
Yep.
So, I really want people to know that, like, man, investing the time and energy now to get those dividends later, right? Being able to take the time to train, to eat right, to work at pickleball, to be better, right?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
No, exactly. And it comes down to, I think my story is a little bit different too, because my game is like different than most pickleball players.
Really?
Because I don't have I've never taken a lesson before. I kind of just even tennis, I was self-taught. So if you look at me play, it's like more of like a powerful playing style. Like I like to hit the ball hard. I'm very agile on the court, athletic. I get every ball. Like I like being like scrappy, but also when a ball gets popped up, it's not coming back. And it helps from like the working out. And a lot of people don't understand that, which is what we're going to try and do.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, weight training will help you put some more power on your shots.
Oh yeah.
And like, even when it comes to like running and like lateral movements, it's like, you're going to be able to get that one more ball back.
Yeah.
So it's like all the training that I did for the 15 years, it's paying off in pickleball because I'm so athletic on the court.
Yeah.
And I'm able to put the ball away and so much power on it.
Yeah.
And it's not just from like me having good strokes. It's from me having like a lot of like power from the gym.
Yeah.
The bench press, the deadlift, all that stuff, So
how much more experience, all those balls that you can get, all the, the things that you can reach for, the things that you can do on the court, that experience also, I think, cascades into being better and better. Because the more experience you have of actually like winning and getting that done, that's going to increase your confidence. You're going to keep going for those, right?
Yep.
And the ability to do that is going to cascade into the ability to do that more and more and more and better and better and better. I'll tell you, like a lot of my clients play pickleball, and I've never trained my client specifically for pickleball, but every single one of them tells me, right? And it honestly is whatever sport they play, golf, all sorts of stuff. They'll tell me, but with pickleball specifically, they have told me like, man, I'm getting balls that I never thought I'd get before. Like I'm out there, I'm doing really good at pickleball. Their skill increases just from our regular kind of functional training that we do. And so, even if you tailor that more into pickleball with injury prevention and more power and, the agility and mobility piece of it, dude, it's going to help people so much. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh no, 100%. Because I mean, you don't really see guys that look like me on the pickleball court.
No, I know.
It's almost like, and it's kind of why a lot of people don't like gravitate so much towards pickleball, because you have like football, baseball, and they're like, oh, they look aesthetic and athletic.
Yeah.
But you look at the pickleball court and the tournaments, these guys really don't look athletic.
No.
I mean, they would beat me, like the pro players, but you're like, oh, do I want to like look like that? You know?
Imagine that combination though, too, of like, if this person's a pro player, I mean, look, and every other pro sport does this, right? If this person's a pro player and they actually train, they actually have a good strength conditioning program, imagine what a monster you could be.
Game changer.
Game changer. There you go. Exactly.
Let alone a nutritionist too.
Yeah.
Like, these people are just going out and playing and they're doing some band work and whatnot. But yeah, they don't have like nutritionists and like a solid like workout routine.
Yep.
So yeah, game changer for sure.
It is. It is a game changer. You've seen it through sports throughout years. Like, probably 50 years ago, people training for sports, like, I might do a little weight training. They're taking like smoke breaks in between, like that's how they trained. Like they just like, it was kind of more of like athleisure, right? Like it was a little bit of leisure, but I'm just good at this genetically.
Yep.
And you've seen how sports have just transformed into legitimate strength conditioning programs, legitimate nutrition. Like they're serious about it. And you see all the time records being broken. People are just getting better and better and faster and stronger because of how powerful it is.
Oh yeah. The routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, like even back in the day, like Arnold and all the bodybuilders, they would just go to the gym and just, they would have like their chicken and rice. But now you have so many studies that back up this research.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's insane. The amount of like the athletes, like even baseball, the amount of people that are throwing consistent 100 miles per hour, it's like insane.
Yeah.
Basketball, like how tall these people are and how athletic they look and how much more muscle they have.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's crazy the difference. Like if you look at sports back in the day, you see the difference in their bodies and you're like, oh my goodness. And you see how old guys are playing till now, right? Tom Brady's a great example of this. But like guys are playing much, much older. They're able to stay healthier longer. And I think that's just, proof of the concept of like what strength conditioning, good nutrition can bring to the table.
Yep.
The table for you. So
just any type of routine,
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
it will give you returns, any type of routine, for sure. But I think, having a dedicated strength conditioning program for whatever you're doing is even better, because you can tailor things so much now because of the amount of research that's backed behind it. Yep. It's really cool to see, a lot of the old like kind of bro science and a lot of the bodybuilding stuff that was back in Arnold's day and even kind of the start of the internet. A lot of that stuff's kind of being backed up in the research now, especially with another thing that I think is any goal you have is one of the biggest priorities you'd have for your nutrition, no matter what your goal is, that pays dividends, is protein. It's been very interesting lately to see, like the bodybuilders back in the day be like, oh, protein, eggs, and nutritionists, RDs, like the whole food industry was against like, oh, you should be getting, 0.4 grams per pound of body weight or less, right? Otherwise that's too much protein. Your body doesn't need that much. And now the research is sitting here backing up, 1 gram a pound per body weight. If you're an endurance athlete, ultra endurance athlete, or, a really big, heavy bodybuilder, you need more than that, right? They even did a study I was just listening to on Peter Attia, where they gave people 100 grams of protein after training, 100 grams right after, and they still saw for hours after that a benefit because of that.
Yep.
And so it's really cool to see a lot of that kind of bro science, bodybuilding science backed up. So the reason I wanted to kind of bring this up about protein is because just like training pays dividends, right? For your pickleball, whatever other sport you're playing. I think one of the biggest things to talk about is how protein really pays dividends, how muscle pays dividends, and why you should be ingesting my recommendation of 1 gram per pound of body weight to all my clients. Because with muscle, right? Muscle dictates your basal metabolic rate. Have you ever heard of BMR?
Yep.
So just for everybody, so we're all on the same page here, BMR is the number of calories you're going to burn in a 24-hour period if you didn't do anything, right? Now, bigger bodies, whether it's fat or muscle, height, whatever is going into that, you're going to have a higher BMR, right? But we don't want our BMR to go up because we have extra fat, right? That's not healthy. That's not good for us. The number of calories you burn in a 24-hour period is largely dictated in a good way by your muscle mass. So the more muscle you have, in other words, the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn without doing anything. And so this is why it pays dividends, right? So if someone's trying to get leaner, even more athletic, right? This is why I think muscle and protein are really the answer, the best answer, and why they pay dividends. Trying to lose fat, get leaner, you're going to be more athletic. You want to be able to burn more calories without doing anything, right? Because if I spend an hour in the gym to gain muscle for a year, right? That's an hour that I'm not going to get back, but I'm going to get results from that, and I'm going to get returns on my investment, but I'm also going to get paid dividends because every time I'm burning more calories by doing nothing. If I just sat here. If I were to switch that out and do cardio, right? Oh, I want to get better at my cardio, so I'm a little more athletic. You're never going to get that hour back. You're not going to burn more calories because of that cardio, right? That's always going to pale in comparison to the amount of calories you can burn just from living, right? Always. Yep. So, really, I think I wanted to bring that up because just like training pays dividends for pickleball, right? Your protein ingestion, your muscle is going to pay dividends for your whatever you're trying to do with your goals, whether it's gain muscle, lose fat, get more athletic, get better at pickleball, right?
Yep, 1000%. And a lot of people don't realize this too. I mean, a lot of people come to you and myself and they're like, hey, I'm trying to get tone, or I'm trying to lose weight and I want to build muscle. Hey, I'm doing this much cardio. I'm like, stop doing the cardio.
Yeah.
Like weight training is the best thing you could do to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time.
Yep.
It's the best.
It is.
Like stop running on the treadmill. Go pick up some weights and do some weight training.
Yep.
Yeah, you could do some, cardio or whatnot, but it doesn't have to be strictly cardio to lose weight,
Exactly.
Because you're going to lose the muscle that you do have,
Big time. People don't realize that, that cardio, you're spending so much time, you're only burning those calories. And if you want to keep burning those calories and keep eating exactly how you eat, you have to keep doing that cardio, right? So you never get that return. And so that's always, in general, that's what I think people are starting to realize that though. That's usually what I get like, oh, what cardio should I do? But then when I start to bring up, weight training and protein, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I think it's just been in people's minds so long that cardio is the answer to burning calories and burning fat, right?
Yeah.
They always go straight there.
Yeah.
But it really isn't, And that's boring, man. Wouldn't you rather be out playing on that pickleball court, right? Burning calories that way and having fun and enjoying yourself?
I always, this was like mind boggling to me. Like why drive like 20, 30 minutes to the gym, whatever it is, to do 20, 30 minutes on the Stairmaster or the elliptical and then go home.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you getting out of that? You're just basically saying, oh, I went to the gym today. Yeah. But then you look the same for years.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll see it all the time. The best results that I've seen after training hundreds of people have literally been get in the gym, right? Weight training, and then make sure your protein is here.
Yep.
Best results I've seen for literally almost any goal, which is most people want to either get their muscle up, right? Or they want to get their, like I want to get more muscle, I want to get more toned, right? Even women, I want to get more toned. I'm not talking bodybuilder here.
Yeah.
But muscle up, or I want to get my fat down. I want to get leaner. I want to look more aesthetic. It's the same thing.
It is. Yeah.
Get your muscle up, right? Weight train, and make sure you get enough protein in it. And man, like those are the best results I've seen just doing those two things.
It's so simple when you say it, right? But a lot of people don't like the simple answer. They're like, oh, I want to do handstands and then eat this special diet. It's like, it's so simple,
I think it's just a human nature thing, because it really is simple. But here's also why I think people don't find it simple. It's because not everyone has that competitive nature, right? Not everyone has that discipline to want to go after a goal. Not everyone has that desire to hold themselves accountable. It's like you really want to achieve that, but you don't really want it, or you'd be willing to do these other things.
Oh
right?
yeah, some people just kind of want it.
Exactly.
And then they get half-assed results because of that.
Exactly. And I think that really what I found that helped people realize what they truly want, because a lot of times there's this ambivalence, like they're kind of going back and forth in their head about what they really want. What I found to really help them is that they don't really want abs. They don't really want that number on the scale. What they really want, they want to feel confident.
Yep.
They want to feel whatever it is in their life. They want to feel like, with men, like they want to feel like that girl notices them, man. They want to be that, that alpha male. They want to have that feeling from that. And the closer you can connect somebody to that feeling, right? Because that's what they truly get, right? The closer you connect someone to that feeling, right? And the goal connected to that, it's like a light switch turns on and people become so much more disciplined. They learn how to hold themselves accountable. They start building the skill sets that they need to get to that place. And the great thing about that is that you're trying to accomplish these finite goals, but along the way, you see this mindset switch in people where they are no longer so worried about that finite goal because it's been the process that got them to that infinite goal, which is their why, right? It's the feeling they get is their why. That's that infinite goal. And it's the process that has gotten them there. Yeah. And I found it to be just honestly a game changer when it comes to this.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
It is really important because a lot of people don't know their why, but I think it comes to like for men, like to feel that alpha male sense, that provider, you know, that kind of,
there you go.
Yeah. And a lot of people they just cruise through life, and they don't have that sense of, hey, my purpose, so that's super important.
I've found pretty much everybody I've talked to wants it. It's just like not on the surface. It's so deep inside them and they'll have that desire for it. And they'll even have the feeling of struggle and the feeling of stress and the feeling of like wanting more adventure, wanting that peace. And they're just not able to like grasp it. It feels so far away. Yep. That vision isn't clear. And if you make that vision clear for people, they start to work backwards on how to get there, right? And they start to be able to build those pieces. If you build that out for them and help them, they do amazing things. Yeah. I think it's the same way with pickleball too. Like, I think people want to feel the confidence on the court. Like they want to enjoy it and they know they want to enjoy it and they kind of do. But when they're getting creamed out there or, they're trying to go play with their friends and they're getting schooled, they're like, oh man, I wish I was better, right? They want that confidence on the court. They want to feel energetic. They want to feel and look athletic out there. And they can get it, right? But it's all about connecting the dots to them. Like, hey, this is the feeling you're trying to get, right? This is what you have to do to get there. And once you really connect that and they see that first win, that first result, I think it's just fantastic.
What you just said, like it kind of like light bulb in my head because I was like, we were talking before the podcast and I was like, I would never get a lesson, but a lot of these people are getting lessons from me. And I think that's why, because they're like, hey, I'm just getting like killed out there. I'm like, I keep losing. I can't play with my friends. And they just want to have competitive games.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge point, what you just said. A lot of people want lessons just to go out there and play and be able to have competitive games, not just hit the ball once and have it sail over the fence.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a confidence thing, just like anything else.
And they don't want to get killed by that, overweight, out of shape guy. And they don't want to get killed by
I did.
Like I did. And they don't want to get killed by that older guy with a knee brace, right? They're like, oh man.
Yeah, it is. It is true. Yeah. It makes you want to get better.
Exactly.
I mean, especially, I would say like growing up too, like going into the gym and seeing like the guy like lifting the weights, it's like motivation.
Dude, yeah.
And I was never scared. And I would highly recommend everyone to not be scared. Like when you see someone that's like doing something that you want to do, like especially in the gym, usually the biggest and like most athletic guys, like you're a prime example. I went up to you like right away and you're very open with me and you helped me out a lot. There's some of the nicest people. I remember going to the gym and seeing this, he was the head trainer at the gym. He was like 240 pounds, had his pro card in bodybuilding. I was like, man,
intimidating.
He like took me under his wing and like kind of told me, hey, this is what you should do. You should be training legs, so that kind of thing. It's like, he helped me out a lot. And then I was leveling up, went to Gold's Gym after that.
Nice.
Same thing. I saw these people like deadlifting like 800 pounds and like, hey, I want to do that. And they helped me out and like took me under their wing. And I was like, sometimes it's just better to go straight to what you want.
Yep.
Like pickleball coaching. Hey, I want to get better. Hey, you're good. Let me go to you. Like you, hey, exactly. I have shoulder problem. Let me go to you for that. So it's like,
definitely
there's always someone that knows more.
Getting a coach is the biggest ROI thing I think you can do in anything.
100%.
It's so interesting to me because I think in a lot of areas in life, people really do get a coach without even realizing it, right? We go to school from kindergarten to high school and that teacher's our coach, right? We play sports and we have a coach. They're the expert and they can make you really good really fast, right? In the shortest amount of time for the shortest amount of money, a coach or somebody who is an expert, right, in that field is going to pay you. You're going to get the biggest ROI on that, right? You're going to get the biggest payout from that. Instead of spending all this time and all this energy and all this stress really of trying to like learn it by yourself and do it by yourself, like you could have this done, in a tenth of the time for way less stress and struggle than it's going to be without a coach, right? So it's just, that's the biggest ROI. It's funny you were sharing about, going to the biggest guy, the biggest trainer. So when I moved to Houston after college, I joined 24 Hour Fitness. I was like, all right, this is a cool place. Like, this is perfect. Like, I'm going to get off work late and early. Sometimes I want to go in early. And so I want a place that's open all the time. So I went to just a regular kind of box gym. And then I saw right near my house a place called Metroflex. So Metroflex is like hardcore, like bodybuilding, powerlifting. Like, the place is just dirty. They've got all sorts of bars, all sorts of crazy implements, like strongman stuff, tires everywhere. It's just hardcore, like metal music just blaring all the time. And I walk in and the dude is like, he's just like that. He's like 250 pounds, ripped out of his mind. The owner is same thing. Like they're professional bodybuilders. A lot of pro bodybuilders were training there over the years. I was the smallest person in there, not the smallest guy. I was the smallest person in there. And the dude was so encouraging. And just helped me to be like, all right, like this is, I feel at home here, even though like I wasn't there yet. Like, this is the place for me. Being around other people that were striving to do their best and to, look a certain way or become the best in whatever their field was so motivating for me, right? It made me want to go to the gym more. It made me have way more fun doing it and just like interacting with the people there, talking to them. Like, it was so encouraging to watch people like, lift these heavy weights and do these things that I couldn't do at the time. Yeah. It built me up, man. And really that camaraderie, right? So doing things together is so huge when you're trying to achieve your goals, I think.
Yep. 100%. And that's another good point too. Cause like I said, I started at like a health tracks. A lot of older people went.
What was it called?
Health tracks.
Health tracks.
Yeah. Back in Connecticut. And my buddies and I were the youngest people there. And there were some other younger people, but most of I would say the median age was like 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
So after I kind of leveled up there and I like maxed out the dumbbells, I think they went out to like 80. I was like, all right, now I'm going to go to Gold's Gym.
There you go.
And to your point, I go into Gold's Gym and I'm not the biggest person anymore, the strongest. I'm like, I'm bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And it just like makes you, to everyone listening, like stop being complacent.
Yeah.
And if you feel complacent, try and, get out of your comfort zone.
There you go.
Like, because going to a new gym or a new environment, you're going to be scared at first. You'll be like, oh man, this is intimidating. Yeah. But like you said, they take you under their wing and you just feel like, oh, I want to level up. I want to be like that guy. You know? And it just gives you like a huge like confidence and like a lot of motivation boost. So it's like, I would just say, don't be complacent, because going to that new gym was like the best decision I made, Yeah.
If you feel like you're getting comfortable, right? That is not a place where growth happens.
Yep.
And so I think one of the barriers of entry to probably even pickleball, right? But also I know training in the gym is there are barriers to entry to that. Like, people see, other big people or people that are really fit, or, they just don't know what to do. There's all these barriers that stop people from getting into that uncomfortability. But without walking in the gym, you're not gonna make any strength gains. Like, exactly, you have to get to that area of discomfort to make any sort of progress with anything in life, right? Yep. And that's what I love about being a coach, right? Because I get to bring people into an area that they're feeling a little uncomfortable, and I get to help them feel a little more comfortable, right? I get to help them break that barrier, that kind of like that first barrier. And then what I find my favorite time is after I've trained with somebody it happens over different times, but maybe a couple months to like a year. At one point in time, every single person will come up to me and they will say, I missed my workout last week and I kind of missed it. They're like, man, I really don't like missing anymore. They'll say something along those lines. And that's a win. And that's like the biggest win that I really get when they finally come to the point of like, man, I hated this. I was totally uncomfortable. I couldn't stand being here. I was sweating, I was dying. And then finally, you get to the point of like, man, I kind of miss this this discomfort I'm voluntarily putting myself through. Because they've finally made that connection of like, this is where I make growth. Exactly. This is where I do it. Yeah. So I think the same thing goes with pickleball. Like, you got to get out there into a little bit of discomfort. My idea is let a coach help you, right? Get an expert to help you. They're there, right? You'll get there that much faster and you'll fall in love with it that much more. Yeah, no, 100%. And going back to like my roots, I remember going into Gold's Gym or whatnot, and I would see bodybuilders and powerlifters, and I actually have done powerlifting meets, and I have my pro card in powerlifting and bodybuilding, believe it or not. So I have both. That's kind of where the hybrid athlete. We didn't mention that earlier, but I'm glad you brought that up. I want to do it all. So what I ended up doing was I did a powerlifting meet first. I think I was 19. Then I would go up to these guys, and I think I ended up pulling like over 500 pounds and squatting like 400 something. Wow. And then benching like 300, something like that. But I remember going to the powerlifter guy. He was a massive guy. He was like probably over 300 pounds. He's like, listen, for your first meet,
just eat whatever. Don't try and cut weight. Like, just be as strong as you can.
There you go.
And that helped me a lot. And I ended up placing first.
Wow.
And then I didn't hire him as a coach. He was very just like helping. And I never like trained for powerlifting.
Yeah.
I just hate going into the gym and doing a 1 rep max. I think I 1 rep max maybe like 10 times in my entire life. After that, I was like, man, I want to do a bodybuilding show. That kind of looks more aesthetic. I want to be strong and look good.
Yeah.
That's like the whole goal. I don't want to be like a powerlifter, like a big powerlifter. Yeah. But I also want to like look good too. So I hired a coach for a bodybuilding show. And I was like, 19 years old at the time as well. And this guy like dieted me down like crazy. I think I'd started at 220 pounds, got all the way down to like 180 pounds.
Wow.
And I lost a lot of muscle because this guy, he was an IFBB pro, non-tested. He was a massive guy. Yeah. And a lot of the diets were cookie cutter. So I was eating like not as much food as I should have been. And he was making me do like 2 hours of cardio. Oof. Not the right coach for someone like me that wasn't taking anything. Yeah. So I ended up getting first and it was good.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. You look great.
Yeah. That was like 19. So I like took like 5 years off and I was like, all right, let me do another powerlifting meet. So I was like, all right, let me do another bodybuilding show at the same time. So here I am like 25 years old now. And I got my buddy to kind of help me. He's like, dude, you have like insane genetics. Let me train you. So he coached me. The other coach I paid, for it, and he taught me some stuff, but the cookie cutter diet wasn't like working. Yeah. This guy was like more flexible dieting. So he gave me macros and I was eating like Chipotle. He doesn't know this. He may hear this, but I was eating.
You're telling on yourself.
Yeah. He gave me macros and basically I just fit it in. So I was having like Chipotle every night until like the week before the show. I was able to fit it in and whatnot, but it was more a flexible approach. He had me doing HIIT cardio instead of 2 hours of cardio. So more high intensity where I was just getting it done in like 20 minutes. And I came in on stage like 195 pounds. Wow. Biggest on stage, won the heavyweight, won my pro card. Wow. And I looked like way better than the first show.
That's wild.
And it was because of the more flexible approach, the less stress. The first show, like I was weighing my food out to like the T. Wow. Because I'm so competitive. Yeah. So if I went over like 1 grain of rice, I would throw it away.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was wild.
Wow. Better results with that flexibility.
Way better results.
But it also seems a little bit more specific too. Yeah. Right? So I think I found the same thing. Like the specificity of your training and nutrition is huge when it comes. So if you're looking for a coach, like make sure it's specific. Exactly. Right? And then also having some flexibility. Honestly, this is backed up in research, but if one of my clients comes to me and like, I'm not really feeling it today, bring it down, man. Do what goes back to the thing we said earlier. Yep. Do what you can do that day. And they've literally tested this side by side. People that were more flexible with their training just in that regard versus people that were just like, I'm going to throw that grain of rice away, right? And this is in the gym, right? We're saying the people that were flexible got better gains out of it. Oh, right? Yeah. It's crazy.
Because when I threw that piece of rice away, after I did my show, and I think even like 2 weeks before, I had like a mental breakdown because I was so strict with it. I was like, dude, his name was Chris. I was like, I need like a burger or something. And I'm like falling apart. I was almost like crying in the gym. I was like so like malnourished and like I was like stressed and everything. It was like the last 4 weeks were terrible. I blew up like a whale because I just went on a massive binge. Dude, it wasn't sustainable.
There you go. Sustainability is huge.
Oh, right? If you can't sustain it, I tell people don't do it. Yeah. This is a lifestyle. You want to be doing it forever.
Sustainable lifestyle change. When I take guys through the challenge that I do, I tell them like, listen, you're making all your own choices here. I'm going to expertly guide you and give you ideas and give you thoughts. And you're going to make the choices of what you want to do, like what you want to trade to get to your goal. And I'm going to help you. Like if it's something that's not really going to get you close or not really going to help you, I'm going to tell you, right? But I'm not going to tell you what to do. That we really teach them is sustainable lifestyle change because it's so important, man. I don't want somebody doing something for, 12 weeks or 90 days. And then right after that, going right back to that binge, right? Yep. It has to be a sustainable lifestyle change. So the one thing I say to them, I say, I don't want you to do anything within this time period that you're in this challenge that you wouldn't be comfortable with for the rest of your life. Not that you're going to do this for the rest of your life. This is a period that you're really focusing on it and you're challenging yourself and, with these other guys. But if you're like, yeah, I would never, ever do this the rest of my life, like, don't do that. Yep. Don't do that because that's exactly what's going to happen. Exactly. And you just adhere to this number when you're weighing your rice out, you're just adhering to this number and you're never building the skill set of nutrition and you're never building your mindset within that arena at the same time. You don't know how to do it. You don't know how to fish later.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's just crazy. I've seen that so many times. So
Yep.
I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
Even from, because most of these people are coming from a world of, it's not really competition for them. This is just, they're trying to reach their goals, and they want to get fitter and healthier and leaner.
Yep.
But you're at the pinnacle of competition, and you sharing that same feeling, that same story, I think is going to resonate with people.
Oh yeah. I mean, you see it all the time too. These people that compete, especially the female athletes, they're on these strict diets and they're messing up their hormones because you really shouldn't be going below like 50 grams of fat.
Dude.
They're on like no grams of fat, which fat is like that's what gives us our hormones, And it's like, they're on like no fat, little calories.
Yep.
And then after that's just like, they blow up, or their hormones are just shot for the rest of their life.
Yep.
They legit mess up their entire body.
Yep.
So I recommend competing unless you're going to do it flexible, don't do it at all. Like, don't do such a strict diet because it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't recommend competing to most people.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't recommend it to most people, but I think if you want to do something like that, I think you're absolutely right. Get a coach that is going to be, give you a specific approach, not they're just like, perfect approach for themselves and, cookie cutter it to you, and get someone, that's going to be flexible. It's going to understand like you need flexibility. And this is not just the only thing you're going after in life, right? This is not the pinnacle. If you go 100%, I've seen it too many times. If you go 100% in one direction, eventually, maybe over time, like you're going to fall apart. You're going to fail. It's not going to feel good.
Yep.
And that's going to cascade into what? You're going to jack your hormones up, right? Or let's say you gain a bunch of weight. Like, it's a lot harder to get that off later. Like, you go to this yo-yo kind of program, this yo-yo kind of diet.
Yeah.
You're going to drop all your muscle off and gain fat. And it's not something that just like you can just put back. Like, you can't always just put that back. If you continually yo-yo and continually mess up your hormones like that, that'll mess you up forever.
And I do want to real quick go back to the protein thing.
Yeah.
I didn't touch on how much protein I have.
Yeah.
So when I was getting ready for when I got my pro card and I looked like insane.
Yeah.
I was having like 350 grams of protein, like insane amount of protein.
Yeah.
Now I would say I have like 250 grams of protein. I'm able to sustain that. It doesn't it's not hard for me to get.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, 200 grams of protein, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, if you break it down, like you have yogurt, chicken, steak, eggs, it's like a protein shake helps a lot.
Yes,
just to get in a quick 50 grams.
Yep.
I mean, I get to your point. I probably get my last meal of the day is like 120, 130 grams of protein straight. I don't worry about you got to get 40 grams per meal. As long as I get it in, I get it in. Whether it's in 2, 3 meals, 4 meals, as long as I get those calories in, I get them in. I don't stress about it too much. That's
what research is showing more and more too. You're on point. Number one is the number of grams of protein you get in a day, right?
Yep.
Number one is number of grams of protein, right? Then after that, secondary and tertiary are going to be your quality of protein and your timing, right?
Yep.
That can do better things for you, but in general, like getting enough grams. And people find it tough to get that amount of protein. One of the reasons that protein is great for us, because this is what I explained to all my clients, is that you've basically got carbs and fat as your energy calories, right? Mm-hmm. Those are giving you energy to use or to store on your body, right? For later, right? That's what it tells your body to do. Use this energy or store this energy. Protein is a little different. Protein doesn't tell your body to do that. Protein is not only the building blocks inside your tissue, but it's also signaling your tissue, just like working out is, to actually build more protein, build more muscle, right? So it's the building blocks and the signal. You're telling your body to do different things with these things. The other great thing about protein that they've really started to show in research is that until you're at your theoretical maximum, whatever protein usage you need for that day for rebuilding muscle, building muscle, right? Or the breakdown and training that you're using it for, your body is not going to use that protein to store on as fat. Yep. It does not like to do that, right? It does not like to do that at all. So it's almost like free calories until you get to that maximum protein you need, right? And then protein's also signaling you to keep muscle on, which what does that cascade into? You keep muscle on, you burn more calories. So dude, like getting enough protein is just number one.
Yeah. It's funny too, to what you just said. Have you ever met a fat person that just ate straight protein?
No. No.
You can never get fat by just eating straight protein.
Not that I would recommend that.
No, I know.
Yeah, you're right.
But imagine if you just ate chicken and steak, dude, and that's all you had in eggs.
Yeah.
I promise you, you're not going to get fat.
One of the guys that I love, Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He is on a strict, only protein diet. I think
carnivore, right?
Yeah. Carnivore. Yeah. He's a carnivore diet. And he swears by it for a couple different reasons.
Yeah.
That we won't really get into, and I think his daughter does it too, Michaela Peterson.
And Mark Bell, if you've
Oh, really? Mark Bell? No way.
And he looks insane because he used to be a fat powerlifter.
Yeah, he was.
Now he does straight carnivore and he looks insane.
Yeah.
He looks really good.
Yeah, because like all their energy calories are coming from the meats and stuff like that, and the eggs and all that stuff. It's all coming in fat. There's very few carbs with that.
Yep.
And then they're getting a ton of protein. Not that I'm saying people should do that.
Yeah.
But like you're absolutely right.
I love my carbs, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
me too. Carbs fuel me, man.
Yeah. We only need protein and fats to survive. We don't need carbs. But I love carbs.
And that's the great thing. And that's the great thing though. Our body has to go through a process called gluconeogenesis to take that protein and turn it into glycogen, right?
Yep.
And for us to be able to use that, and it has to go through a process with fat the same exact way. Like it has to be able to use that in one of the energy cycles to be able to do that. So like your body, you can do that and not have really any extra, like carbs. Like you're going to get some carbohydrate from the proteins.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very little.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Like I would never do keto. And I don't think like any one diet is better than the other. Like I said, like whatever is sustainable and reaches your goals, that's the diet I recommend.
Yep.
But yeah, I love my carbs. What helps for me as far as the diet I do now is I'll fast. Like I haven't ate anything today.
Really?
And then I'll fast until, just because if I wake up, I'm kind of hungry, but I have a clear head without food in me. So like I do all my meetings, I do my pickleball clients, I do all that. And I'm more like clear-minded. And then I usually break the fast at like 12:31.
Interesting.
And it'll usually be a high protein meal, about 100 grams of protein. And then I'll usually won't eat again until like maybe like 6. So me personally, I'll have like 2 meals a day.
Wow.
And that works for me. And I'll have a shake. So maybe like 3 meals a day.
That's the thing, man. See, it's not that there's a diet that's better than the other. In fact, time and time again, they've shown in research, number one, dieting doesn't work, right? In the long term. But when you're talking about like going on a certain diet, the only reason any of them work is because of caloric restriction. And so I don't recommend diets to people. In fact, I kind of just try to educate them on what diets are and like what the reason they work, just like that. But also, like you got to figure out something that works for you, because that's the best thing. Whatever's going to get you to get you closer to your why and get you to your goal.
Yep.
That's going to help you. That's the thing that you need to do.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what you do as well.
Yeah. Cause I just love food.
Me too.
I love food so much, where the point, like if I was to have breakfast every day, or like, 8, 9, like normal people, I'd be a loose cannon. I just want to eat everything. Like the first meal, it's like, as soon as I hit that, like break the fast, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. But it's good because I burnt so many calories and I've done so many things before that first meal. Yeah. Where it's now I'm recharging my body. Yeah. And then I'm good to go.
Your body's using the calories it has on there. Like even a really lean, guy has plenty of calories stored on your body, right? In the muscle, in the fat for whatever things that you need to do. So you don't have to be really too worried about that. It's not like when you're hungry that you're like, oh, my body needs fuel. Not true. Exactly. Not true at all.
Sometimes you just need water.
Yeah. Your body gets very used to this homeostasis of your hunger, and it sends signals to tell you to eat, even though you don't need to eat. It's not based on the nutrients that your body has on it at all.
And
interesting.
It's funny. I'm more flexible. Like I said, not one diet is better than the other, because I know a lot of coaches that and they do a good job at it. And I know it's marketing, but they're like, hey, fasting is a way. And they'll fast for like 24, 48, 72 hours. And like, this is how I look the way I do. And it's like, I'm not on a strict fasting timeline. Yeah. I'll eat, sometimes I'll eat at 11, sometimes I'll eat at 2. I'm not strict with it.
There you go.
It's just, I feel out my body. I'm sure you're the same way. Yep. Some of these people just fasting is the way. Yep. Or keto is the way. It's no, don't listen to these gurus,
There you go. Guru. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I tell people, anybody that tells you this is the only way is selling you something. Yep. That's exactly it. They're trying to sell you something. Maybe, that is the way, that is why they look that way. And that might work for them and they might have great genetics, but there's no one exact thing that you should be doing that's going to do that. Yeah. But I think human nature is just to go that way, right? That I found, because we want that hack, we want that trick, we want the fastest way. And so people are able to tap into that. And I'm not saying these people are bad. Please don't take that way, right? This is marketing. This is how sales and things like that work. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're purposely doing something wrong, right? It's just that it just plays well into human nature.
I was going to say that too, because a lot of these people that want to be more fit or more confident, they want that quick fix. So if they're like, hey, this is the way. He's preaching, this is the way.
Yep.
It's like, all right, this is the way.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to think.
Yep.
But I think you and I, we have an open mind and we know there's not just one way.
Yeah.
And it helps, but we've also been in it before. We see the studies and all that. So it's like
we have experience.
We have experience.
Right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to my thing with coaching. Like the fastest way to get experience is to get with the most experienced person, which is a coach.
Exactly.
Right? Get a coach in anything you do. Yeah. Right.
And it's almost like pickleball too. And if people ask me about like dieting, some people I will put them on like what I'm doing. Like they're like, hey, I have a really bad time. Like in the morning, I'm like super hungry and I want to eat whatever. I'm like, hey, just try and push it out like an hour here, hour there, and then eat at 12.
Yeah.
And see how that works for you.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, fasting does help.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
for sure.
they have like a massive breakfast in the morning. And personally, if I had a massive breakfast for my meetings or on the court, I'd be wanting to take a nap.
Yeah.
Because like that big food right when I wake up, I'm going to want to go back to sleep personally.
Yeah. A lot of guys that I see too, like, they're like, I don't like breakfast, or, I wake up and I got to go 100 miles an hour in my business, right? I have to just go. And I don't have time until lunchtime to like grab a snack or something. And you know what? It does work for them. And I don't mess with that. I let them do it. Whatever is working, no problem. Right? Because that's what's working for them.
As long as they get their protein in.
As long as they get their protein. There you go. There you go. I have just a few simple rules. And like, especially starting out with people, it's like protein number one. Okay. Where are your vegetables at? We want to get some good micronutrient profile in here for you. Okay. And how about fruits? What do you got there? That's really what we look at.
Yep.
I'm not worried about diet. I'm not worried about timing as much. I'm not worried about calories. Right. It has to be, simple and, easy for someone to do is number one.
Exactly.
What can they accomplish?
When you go to bed at night, you better have your fruits, vegetables, and you better hit your protein.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't, you better go into the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. Because
a lot of people have that misconception too, where they're like, hey, I can't, I don't know how you feel about this, but hey, I can't eat right before bed.
Yeah.
I eat right before bed every single night.
I do it a lot, man. Usually,
your body's still working. It's not like, oh, let me eat. And then, hey, when I go to bed, it's like, all right, I'm not going to be burning any calories. It's like, that's not how the body works.
Yeah. Now there are, I think there can be some like caveats that like, okay, like you don't want to always, be like shoveling food in because it can mess up your sleep and, your body's going to want to store maybe a little more of that, but I eat before bed all the time.
Depends on the type of food. Yeah. Like you don't want to be eating like cookies and brownies and all this garbage right before you go to bed.
Yeah. Like garbage is bad at any time though. So more to your point, like don't ever eat garbage. Right. But usually I eat right before bed. I go home and I eat a bunch of grass-fed beef right before I go to bed.
Yep. Yeah. And your body probably loves you for it.
Oh yeah. I get a bunch of protein. I'm going to have a fast that night while I sleep. Maybe not 8 hours, but 6 or 7 hours, I'm not going to eat anything.
Exactly.
And then the first thing that I want to get in the morning is protein. It's the first thing I eat. It's either my protein shake if I'm working out right away, or I'm literally jumping in the shower, then going downstairs and heating up my breakfast, which is eggs.
Exactly.
So it's that fast is fine, but I'm always just coupling the protein I think on either end.
That's a good point too. So I will fast, but like when I see you at the gym, it's usually like 11 or 12 and I'll usually have something before because me personally, same thing with like playing. So like I'll coach in the morning and whatnot, but playing and like working out, me personally, I can't do it when I'm hungry. Yeah. Like I need to have something or else I'm just going to be constantly thinking about like, I've done it, leaving the gym early and going to get food. Because my body's like, I need protein.
I need food.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm a little different than you. Like I got to wake up and eat right away, man.
Oh, really?
And it's interesting though, like, because I've heard many people, nutritionists, RDs even share this, that, the mental clarity that they get from the fasting, it's definitely a phenomenon that I don't think it's really been studied, but very anecdotally, out there from professionals and researchers and all sorts of stuff that they have this kind of like mental clarity from that. Yeah. From fasting and not eating right away. And it's interesting.
Yeah. Like if I ate before this, I probably wouldn't know how to talk. I'm just joking.
You'd just be lethargic.
Yeah, I'd just be like taking a nap.
Get out of here, man. I've always seen you with tons of energy, no matter what.
All the caffeine.
They've even shown like getting, if you just down protein before whatever workout you're going to do, like if you really want to, like it's not going to affect your body pulling energy from your fat stores. So, having protein before is one thing. If you're, and if you're constantly training, like if you're training pretty much every day or, 5 days a week, you really don't need to worry about having something before and doing fasted cardio, or the other end of it, just not having anything before. Like that's totally fine.
Have you ever tried like a Carbolin or like a carb source while you're working out? Have you ever experimented with that?
Yeah, I didn't like it too much when I was using Carbolin. I usually get like bubble guts from that, man. It just blows me up.
Yeah.
My brother really likes it. But I do eat while working out sometimes, like depending on like my meal timing, just so I feel satiated.
Yeah,
and I don't
same.
feel like lethargic or bad. Like I will have protein mid workout sometimes, or and I'll be eating banana sometimes mid workout.
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
same,
getting
yep.
a sugar source in.
Yep.
You'll do the same.
Yeah, banana, or like sometimes if I'm in a rush or something and I'll be at the gym, like I'm hungry, I'll grab like a bar at the front. They have those bars, or like a banana, like you said, just something.
Yeah.
So I could feel like I'm not hungry
Yeah.
while I'm working out. But yeah, banana is like my go-to, or like a protein bar. The barbells are pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had those before.
The barbells? Oh yeah, I have had those.
They're pretty
Those are good.
Yeah. Plus at maximum, they keep them in the fridge.
Yeah.
They're so good. I was on like
Little treats.
Dude, I was on a kick one time. I was like, why don't I just buy these at the store at like Vitamin Shop? I was going in, I was like $4. Because I was like, I liked them cold.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it's like my treat.
That convenience, man. That nice cold thing ready to go
it's
right
the
there.
convenience. Yeah. I'm a
pay for
sucker
that.
for it too.
You mentioned something earlier that I want to go back to too with Chipotle. You know, I think that's one of the kind of secrets or hacks that I think is great is that, dude, you can get really good macros at Chipotle. I mean, listen, don't be throwing a ton of sour cream. Don't be throwing a ton of cheese. Don't be throwing, guacamole every time. But like, dude, you can get your macros really good at Chipotle. The, protein that you want to get a day. And you can get a great, I mean, now it's everything's a little more expensive. Like usually I walk out of there with a double steak for almost $20.
Yeah.
But you can get, 2 meals out of that. That's what people don't realize, I think. Someone who's smaller, like if you walk into Chipotle and be like, all right, I want a bowl, I want the old steak, double steak. And then you just ask for more rice and beans. Like before with me, like they'll give you up to like 3 or 4 scoops of rice and beans. Like, throw some vegetables in there, throw whatever you want. Light on the cheese, maybe light on the sour cream.
Yeah.
You walk out of there, your macros are great. You can split that into 2 meals, man.
Exactly. I don't know if you knew this, but I've been getting Chipotle every single day for the past year.
Really? Every day? Dude.
I don't miss a day. Every single day. I go at like
every day
after pickleball at like 9-10 o'clock at night. I go every single day. And to your point, like back when I had it, like I've been eating Chipotle for like 5 years now. I'd get like sour cream and cheese and everything, like a burrito, and I would like want to fall asleep. I just want to pass out.
Yeah.
Now when I go, it's a triple steak quesadilla.
Wow.
Triple chicken bowl. Hopefully I don't get in trouble because the viewers don't know which location I go to. It's either it's either free or $5. So for the whole week, I spend maybe $10 on Chipotle.
No way.
For when I was in California this past weekend for pickleball tournament.
Yeah.
When I was coming back, I stopped at Chipotle. I already knew I was going to have to pay full price. But I forgot how much full price was, and I got a double chicken bowl. So I say like double. Yeah. I don't even have to tell them how much meat. They're giving me like almost quadruple meat sometimes.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like
I gotta go with you, man.
No, come with me and they'll hook you up. In California, I was like double chicken. They gave me like 2 small scoops of chicken. I was like a little bit more. They're like, I'm going to charge you triple. I was like, all right, just keep it double. So I got like a small steak quesadilla, small chicken bowl, both double, and it was $35.
Jeez.
And I sent the Chipotle, I posted it like on my Instagram, and some of the Chipotle workers at the Chipotle I go to, they follow me, and they're like, dude, you're cheating on us. They're like, we got you when you come back.
We got you.
So they were the first stop when I came back, and I got it for free. They even got me a Chipotle like paddle set, or Chipotle pickleball paddle set.
No way.
Yeah, I came in before I went to California. They're like, hey, we got a gift for you.
No way, dude.
They got me a Chipotle branded pickleball paddle set.
That's sick.
Legit the best Chipotle I've ever been to.
That's so funny.
Yeah, they know my dog. They know me. I come in, my order is like already ready,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I living the good life over there.
Dude, Chipotle, I think, is one of the best like secret hacks that like you can use to get something that tastes great.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can make it taste really good, and you can really fit all your macros in there, and you can get good micronutrient profile with the vegetables and stuff like that. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Even I always recommend people like, all right, there's places you can go. Here's things that you can do. Chipotle is one of my first thoughts for people. Like, because people need convenience, right? Just like that, grabbing that barbell at the gym, like that convenience, that cold, right? We want being able to just walk in, grab a hot meal, like tastes really good. Like that's so much more of a motivating thing to be able to do rather than just weighing out every little ounce of chicken and every grain of rice. Like people aren't going to want to do that. No one wants to do that. Here's the way to do it, right?
Yeah. I haven't made food in like a year and a half.
Wow. I think that's...
I eat out every single day. So I know it's probably not in line with what you...
No, that is. Seriously, because a lot of my clients are high performers, right? CEOs, guys who are busy with families, people that are that don't have time to be messing around. And so time is money to them, man. And that's one of the biggest things that I think working with those people has taught me. Well, if you're so worried about every, single cent that you're going to make everything at home, like you're never going to accomplish goals with your time. Like you need to be spending your time on things that are going to progress you. And so we should be spending as little time as possible on picking out your clothes and waiting at a certain gas station to get 10 cents off a gallon. And, weighing every little thing out and being able to make all your food at home just to save a couple cents. Yeah. That's never going to pay you dividends, man.
Exactly.
What is going to pay you dividends in life, in business, but also in training and, sports is spending your time on what's going to lead to growth. Yeah. So I think that's great.
I heard on Hermosi podcast or whatnot, and we talked about it briefly too. Imagine these people that are spending an hour or 2 hours cooking every single day.
Yep.
Imagine just make more money. In that 2 hour space, you can make way more money and save that time.
Exactly.
And that's kind of my logic because I'm always on the go. So like I have this other place called Sneak and I make good choices. That's how I'm able to like stay, athletic and whatnot. I'm not like eating McDonald's or Burger King.
Yeah.
Like I have Chipotle, high protein. I get my vegetables in there. Yeah. And it's good quality meat and whatnot. Yep. And then I also have this place called Sneaky Bird. Those are the two places I go every single day.
They're going to like this plug, by the way.
Oh, I know. And Sneaky Bird is awesome because they don't, unfortunately, not yet, give me the hookup like Chipotle does.
Soon.
Yeah, I met the owner and he's awesome. He gave me like a Sneaky Bird hat. And,
no way.
It's cool. And they like Hunter, my dog. But as far as their cooking goes, they don't fry it. So it's all air fried.
Nice.
So I actually let me see like the macros because I was like, is this actually healthy?
Yeah.
For what I get, it's 90 grams of protein, 20 grams of fat, and for carbs, it's like 60 grams of carbs.
Wow.
Because I get sweet potato tots. So I was getting the regular tater tots. Those were like 40 grams of fat. I was like, I got to cut those out.
There you go.
So sweet potato tots, those are like 10 grams of fat. The sauce is like maybe 5 grams of fat. And then the chicken is like maybe another 5 grams.
Nice.
I was like,
that's crazy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It works out and it's like $12. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, instead of paying however much per day, I'm paying maybe $20 a day for food.
There you go.
For my whole, it's not too bad.
Even if it was like $50, but in turn, you were having to spend 2 hours to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me anymore.
Yeah.
Like just to save that money, like let's say it would only cost you $15, right? To save that $35, you spent 2 hours.
Yeah.
No, you should be going out and investing in growth in your future, right? Investing that time because that's going to pay you. Not only can you make that within that time, but that's going to pay you dividends later.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you need to be able to do that.
You could easily make way more money in an hour.
Yes. Even doing that, let's say you aren't making that an hour, right? But in a year, if you like invest that 2 hours or hour a day, whatever it is, into growing yourself, whether it's your business, like something for even just learning, right?
Yeah, a skill set.
Skill set, right? Imagine what you could do within a year if you did an hour a day and ate out.
Yep, exactly.
Right? That's an investment. That's not just saving money every day, right? Just like the cardio thing, right?
Yep.
Like making that investment in actually training, right? And actually putting protein into your body and training in the gym is an investment that you're pulling out returns and dividends on that later.
Yep.
Right? Same thing here.
That's kind of why the program that we're going to be doing, it's going to be saving them a lot of time.
Yep.
And it's going to also be doing ROIs for both of us.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of these people want to get better. Mm-hmm. They want to get better. They want to feel more confident, but they also don't want to get hurt on the court.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to combine all of those, and I'm going to be doing like more pickleball training. And then if you could focus on more like the injury prevention and more of like the, I guess, in the gym type stuff to show them, hey, this is how you don't get hurt on the court.
Yeah.
I think that would pay dividends in the long run,
Oh yeah, big time. So, being able to combine the skill set that you have, right? Teaching people that skill set, and then the actual, on the other side, not really the skill set, but building up the body and being able to, just like we talked about earlier with how that pays dividends, like building that strength and building that skill set. Combining those two things, I think is gonna be very powerful. I think really, on our end too, how fast we can do that. Like, doing that in the shortest amount of time, getting you with a coach and an expert that's so good that we can build you up that fast, right? And then teach you the things that you can do so you can learn how to fish. Not just like, okay, now I know how to do this exact move in pickleball, right? Or now I know how to train a little more. Like, no, we want you to be able to learn to fish, learn to get better at pickleball, right? Learn to how to injury prevent, and how to be able to recover if you do have like a little injury, right?
Yep. Those are the best coaches too.
Yes.
Like a lot of these coaches like kind of want their clients to be like, use them as a crutch forever.
Yes.
My goal is to like teach you and take that and run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to be with people forever.
Exactly. It means you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're selling you a fish instead of teaching you to fish.
Exactly.
And one of my goals for my clients, I have a lot of clients that are with me a long time, but one of my goals for my clients is like, I want to build you up so you can do this on your own. I think people really stay because they like doing it with me and they like the aspect of it.
Yeah. You get a better workout with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But being able to do that on their own, I will say it's a big win for me when I see them like, when they're like going on vacation or going out of town or they have to travel for business. And they're like, hey, can you put something in there for me that's going to, and I'm like, yes, of course I can. You know, and they're checking that off and I'm seeing it. Yeah. It's just fantastic. You know,
that is the best when they're on their own and they're giving you like texts like, hey man, like, do you have any recommendations for this? Or, hey, I'm going out to eat. This is the menu. And they're sending you a picture of the menu. They're like, man, you're on it. Yeah. I love it.
So having that high ROI for people out there, like, you know, getting better at pickleball, getting better really fast, being more athletic, being more competitive, I think all goes into that confidence, like building that confidence, making it more fun, right? Making it more enjoyable. I mean, how would it feel to go out there and playing with your friends one week and then the next week you show up and you're like way better.
Different player.
Oh yeah. Just they're going to look at you like, what the heck have you been doing? Right. Yeah. That's just got to be the greatest feeling.
Yeah. So to your point, it's like an accelerated course. Exactly. It's not like, hey, it's going to take like a year for you to get better. It's like, hey, work with us for 4 weeks. We will teach you all the fundamentals.
Yep.
And you will be light years better than when you started, you know?
Exactly.
And you have all the tools to be safe while you're doing it.
Yep.
And be more athletic. And you take all those tools and implement them forever, however long you want to do it.
Exactly. Take them with you. Yeah. I think another thing that people really get out of, we kind of spoke about this earlier with the challenge that I do and just training in general. Like when we looked back at our, you know, experiences with getting better at the gym, like you going to Golds and me going to Metroflex, but it's the camaraderie and the community that you get out of doing this with other people. It becomes so much more fun.
Yep.
Don't feel like you're just out there like, you know, just burning calories or just bored or, you know, it's so much more fun. And so you get to enjoy yourself, have fun, build your skill set, get that confidence and really just get better. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And the community, like you said too, I want to bring all these people that want to get better and want to get more athletic and want to be safe on the court and, you know, want to excel and get all of them together. So that way it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier doing it at like a family environment or like a group environment, you know, because you see, oh, Johnny's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let him beat me. You know?
There's a little bit of competition there. Not all the time, but like people they get a little more competitive with each other and then they start to get a little more competitive with themselves. Like they just want to better themselves.
Yep.
And having that group environment is just fantastic for that.
Oh, lights the fire.
And just, you get more people to play with. Right. You start to make connections and play with them. You start to motivate one another.
Yep.
It's not just, you know, this performance benefit that you get one time. Like I've seen it be, you know, exponential and like constantly making you better and better and getting more and more out of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And even in like the fitness scene and the pickleball scene, I've seen as well, like you have this group of people and then you end up hanging out after.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you meet friends as well. Because you have similarities and it's all like the connections that you make throughout life too.
Yep. Big time.
Yep.
Big time. It's all about connections.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So, me too, man. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize this, like, cause I follow the sport and everything, especially in like the amateur level. The professionals probably have some like coaches and whatnot. And I'm sure they have like a nutritionist, but the amateur level, no one's doing this. I mean, it's like a huge gap.
Yeah, for sure. If you're trying to break into kind of another level of something, like you need somebody doing that. You need somebody to do that for you. Like imagine how much faster and better you could, you know, go up a level if you had an expert coach helping you out. Yep. And I'm not just talking, you know, you don't need to go out there and I think spend a ton of money and getting like one of these professional coaches, probably like these guys have, but you can, I think, make huge gains really fast if you just do small targeted the right things for sure.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. No, like I said, I'm hyped for it because I see like I've implemented changes the last 6 months since I got hurt and the changes I've made on the court and how much faster I am and how much more explosive I am. And it's like, I'm excited to share that with everyone else. So I'm hyped to work with you.
It's gonna be a great value.
Oh, 100%.
People are going to love it. John, honestly, this is a great conversation, man. I love talking about kind of this hybrid athlete concept that I think people are starting to realize is like, this is the way that they want to go. And, you know, hearing more about your story, what you shared was, I think, really going to resonate with people and their goals and, you know, progressing themselves down the path they want to go to with their fitness and health. And then it was really good to talk to you about our new partnership with our pickleball training, you know, bringing people on and just advancing their level and giving them that confidence to have more fun and building that community is just going to be great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I enjoyed sharing my story, and I'm excited for the future.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.